Hi fellow homebodies, welcome to my channel. Chipper says hello. Say hi, Chipper. This is my baby bear, Chipper. I call him my Chipper bear because his fur reminds me of a bear. He's my teddy bear, my Chipper bear. Yeah, that's why I call you that sometimes, but his real name is just Chipper. Yeah? I always wanted a pug named Chipper. He definitely lives up to his name because he's hyper. And Chipper and hyper rhyme. You are hyper pug. You are hyper pug. My last pug, Calvin, was much calmer. He had a much more calm personality. So when I got another pug, I thought that it was going to be Calvin .2. But Chipper isn't really Calvin .2. Chipper is his own man, his own personality, but he's so cute. He's so cute. Yeah, you're the baby. You're my baby. And his ears are so soft, and he's very, very loving. He's a little bit demanding. When he wants something, he scrapes his back legs on the floor, like demanding, and barks. Doesn't really bark, he just humps, makes a hump sound. It's like, I want you to watch me, right? But he's so funny. He's so funny. He's so gorgeous. He's a baby. He's my dog. Scout is more my husband's dog. Chipper is my dog. Chipper is where I am. He doesn't leave my side. If he goes upstairs and I'm downstairs, I'll go hide. And I know within like 2 minutes he's going to come down and look for me. And if he can't find me, he panics. And then we play hide and seek and he runs around the house. And he usually finds me in like 30 seconds. Because there's only 4 places to hide. And he knows all of them. So it's either in the bathroom, in the dining room, behind the couch in the living room. That's pretty much the hiding places. In the pantry, but the pantry, he always finds me in the pantry. So I can't really hide too well from him. He always finds me. He's very funny. You're very funny. So what are we doing at home today? Well, I did run errands with my husband for about an hour. And now we're home. It's a nice, beautiful day. It's cooler out today than it was over last weekend. The dinner plan is chicken cutlets. So I have a bunch of chicken breasts in my freezer. I'm going to put them in a pot of water in my sink to defrost. Take about 20 minutes to defrost. And then I'm going to make chicken cutlets, which I'll show you how to do. Any Italian-American family knows that chicken cutlets are on the menu very often. They're an easy meal to make. Everybody likes them. And so it's easy to please the family with chicken cutlets. So you can serve chicken cutlets many different ways. My husband likes it with chicken gravy. So he has to have gravy on everything he eats. So he always puts chicken gravy on it. My son and I just like him plain. Oftentimes I'll serve chicken cutlets with a vegetable or a side salad. Sometimes I'll make Kraft macaroni and cheese on the side. You can make it with stuffing if you have leftover stuffing, or if you make stovetop stuffing. That's a good side dish for chicken cutlets. If I have leftover sauce and mozzarella cheese, then I'll make chicken cutlet parmesan. That's pretty easy. You just make the chicken cutlets normally, but before you put them in the oven, you put a little sauce and cut mozzarella cheese on top, and it melts. If I make it that way, I'll usually serve it with a side of pasta with my sauce. But I'm not going to make it Parmesan today. I'm just going to make plain chicken cutlets, so I'll show you how I do that. That's mainly because I don't have any sauce. I really need to make a pot of sauce. When I make my next pot of sauce, I will show you how I make my sauce. I make a big pot of sauce, even though there's only 3 of us. And I put it in the fridge when it's done. I let it cool a little bit, put it in the fridge, let it cool down completely. And then the next day, I take about half of it and I put it in the freezer in small containers. And that way, during the next few weeks, if we want to have sauce and pasta for dinner, I just have to defrost a container of sauce that I've put in my freezer. It defrosts in about a half an hour. And then you can boil water for pasta. It's an easy weeknight meal. That is a good meal to do when I'm working. I get home from work and I don't feel like cooking something. I'll just make sauce because I always have my sauce in the freezer. So I'm running low right now. I did make sauce in the beginning of the month, but we have now used all that sauce. So I'll show you how I make sauce at another day. This is Chipper playing with his toy. He has a skunk toy that he has shredded. And he is continuing to shred it. We go through a lot of toys in this house because this one likes to bite everything and shred it. His favorite toys are these fluffy ones, and we have a bone that he likes to chew on. Those are his two favorite toys. We have a lot of other toys, but those are mostly Scout's toys. I don't think Chipper liked the camera in his face very much. He's camera shy again. All right, so when I come back, I will be starting the chicken cutlets for dinner. It's almost time for dinner. I am going to make a tomato salad with fresh basil and mozzarella cheese. I'm going to do that first before I work on the chicken cutlets. So I have 3 tomatoes and a bunch of fresh basil that I washed. I have my salt and pepper, and I'm going to cut up these tomatoes and basil, put them in this bowl with some olive oil, a little salt and pepper, some mozzarella chopped up, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. But first, let's start chopping our tomatoes that I already washed. Chop up all of this basil and sprinkle it over the chopped tomatoes. This is some whole milk mozzarella or mozzarella cheese. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to use maybe half of it chopped up into little chunks. You always have to taste one, make sure it's good. It's good. I'm going to put the rest of my mozzarella away. I didn't even use half of this mozzarella. I used about 1/3 of it. I'm going to put the rest of it away into the fridge for another recipe, another day. I have my olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil in my serving bottle. Has a pour lid. I'm going to pour that over my tomatoes and mozzarella and basil. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of pepper and about a teaspoon of salt. I bought this Italian balsamic vinegar. It actually has a spray bottle. I'm going to spray it over the mozzarella and the tomatoes. And I like this bottle so much that I'm just going to refill it with more balsamic vinegar when it's empty. So I'm going to mix this together. So this will be our salad for dinner. It's just 3 tomatoes, about 1/3 cup of fresh mozzarella, whole milk, a bunch of fresh basil, some extra virgin olive oil, about 3 tablespoons, and many sprays of the balsamic vinegar. If you were to measure it out, it'd probably be about 1.5 tablespoons. Salt and pepper to taste. Mix it around. We're going to let this marinate in the fridge while I work on the chicken. I have everything prepped now. I have my frying pan on the burner. I'm going to put it on medium-high. Probably on my burner it's going to be on a 5. I have my extra virgin olive oil that I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons into my frying pan to warm. I have already defrosted and trimmed 5 chicken breasts. These are thinner chicken breasts. I also have set my oven to 350 because after I bread these and fry them, I'm going to put them in the oven for about 20 minutes to make sure they're cooked through. So I have my frying pan heating up with my olive oil. I have a baking sheet here that I'm going to put the fried chicken on and bake it in the oven. I usually cover my pans with tin foil. It makes cleaning up much easier, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But sometimes the chicken cutlets stick to the pan and it's hard to get clean. So I have these Pampered Chef divided plates that I got about 15 years ago. These are great for when you're making chicken cutlets. This is actually 1 egg, 1 extra large egg that I have beaten up. I have my breadcrumbs. These are just regular Italian style breadcrumbs. And then I have an empty side where I'm going to put the breaded chicken before I put it in the frying pan. I keep my breadcrumbs in this canister in the pantry. It's sealed. And I just dump my Italian style breadcrumbs in there. And keeps them fresh and sealed. I'm not going to salt and pepper the chicken cutlets because there is some salt flavoring in the breadcrumbs. Olive oil is heating up. We're going to bread the chicken. I'm going to use my metal tongs. I'm just going to do 2 at a time. So I'm going to take 2 of these, place them in the eggs. I'm going to put this back over here. Just going to leave these on the side. I'm going to use my fork. And I'm going to make sure that the chicken breasts are coated with the egg mixture. And then I'm going to pop these into the breadcrumbs 1 by 1 and make sure they're fully coated. Okay, so that's 1. I'm just going to put it into the empty dish. I'm going to make sure this one's coated with the egg. Put it into the breadcrumbs. I like to press them in there, so make sure they're fully coated. Shake out the excess. See, we missed a spot in the middle. So I'm going to make sure we don't miss any spots. Shake out the breadcrumbs. And then they're going to go there. And I'm going to repeat with the rest of my chicken breasts. Repeat the same process. Coat the chicken breasts with the egg. Dip the egg into the breadcrumbs. Make sure it is fully coated. Okay, so you are going to have leftover egg. What I like to do with my leftover egg and my leftover breadcrumbs is mix them together and make a little fried breading. I'll show you. So that's my leftover egg. I poured a little bit more breadcrumb. These are all of my raw chicken breasts that are breaded. For the last bit, I don't want to waste this egg. I'm going to pour the egg into take my fork and I'm going to start incorporating the breadcrumbs into the egg. And at the very end, I'm going to use my hands, which are clean, to make this into a patty. I'll show you. First, use the fork though. Try to mix it in as much as you can. Dogs are eating the crumbs that I'm hitting the floor. Okay, so my hands are clean. I'm gonna mix this egg and breadcrumb mixture together at the end by hand. And I'm gonna flatten it out into a patty. And this is the first thing I'll fry to kind of test the oil, but I think the oil is hot now. So I'm gonna wash my hands first and then we're gonna start frying the chicken. All right, so my chicken is breaded. I can smell the olive oil. When you start to smell the olive oil, you know the olive oil is hot. I don't really need to even worry about it. So I'm gonna take my breaded egg and I'm gonna set that in the pan, and yes, it is sizzling. I'm gonna put 3 chicken breasts in the pan. I have a very large frying pan. You don't want to overcrowd the chicken, but at the same time, you don't want to cook one at a time because it's gonna take forever. So I'm gonna cook on each side for about 3 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
So it's going to cook about 3 minutes on each side. It'll be golden brown. Then I'll put it on my baking tray, pop it in the oven at 350. It's already heated for about 20 minutes. And I'm going to check the temperature of the chicken. Remember, the chicken has to be 165 on the inside. So I'll check the temperature. If it's 165 or over, it's ready to go. I've already made the tomato mozzarella salad. I'm also going to make some Kraft macaroni and cheese as a side dish. So let me get I have a little saucepan that I'm gonna put water in and boil. This is a small saucepan, so it won't take long to boil. I'm just gonna put some cold tap water into the saucepan. I'll put the back burner on high for the macaroni and cheese. I'll show you what we're gonna do. Tonight I'm gonna make the deluxe macaroni and cheese 4-cheese variety. So according to the package, you cook the pasta for 11 minutes for al dente. So we're gonna cook it for 11 minutes once the water's boiling. I am gonna salt the water so the pasta's a little bit flavored. You don't need a lot of salt though because there's salt in the cheese. I use this little casserole dish for macaroni and cheese. This is where I put the cheese inside it and then I mix it together. So that's dinner. So it'll be a tomato, basil, mozzarella salad, little Kraft macaroni and cheese on the side, and chicken cutlets. Of course I have to heat up chicken gravy for my husband because he has to have gravy on every meat he eats. So he'll have gravy. Julius and I will just have them plain. So you can hear them sizzling very well. And that's my water for pasta. So when Alexa tells us, Alexa, turn off the timer. Alexa just told us that the 3 minutes is up. I'm going to check the bottom. They're looking golden. Let me show you. The middle one I didn't think was golden enough, so I didn't turn that one yet. But the other two chicken breasts and the egg, and this is the egg and breadcrumb mixture, that is golden. This I'm going to give another few minutes. I'm going to set another timer for 3 minutes, and then it should be golden on both sides by then. And you can adjust them, move them around the pan where the olive oil is, if you don't think they're getting brown enough. My pan's a little crooked, so I usually have to kind of move the olive oil around. The chicken breasts are going to absorb the oil. Sometimes you need to add a little drop more. So I always need to add a little bit more just to make sure there's enough oil, because the chicken is going to absorb the olive oil. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
In 3 minutes, this should be good to flip. I'm going to place the cooked chicken and the breadcrumb mixture on my baking sheet. Pop them in the oven. The oven's already preheated. 20 minutes. The salad is made. It's in the fridge. So we'll have the salad on the side. Dinner's ready. This is another really quick, easy dinner to make after work. All I have to do is just pop some frozen chicken breasts in a pot of water. 20 minutes later, I'm breading and I'm cooking the dinner. And it's very easy. Of course, everyone loves chicken cutlets, so it's a fan favorite for dinner. So while that 3 minutes is going on, I can set the table, I can walk the dogs, I can do what I need to do around the house. So you're pretty much just waiting for the chicken to fry. If you don't like Kraft macaroni and cheese, potatoes are another great side dish that you can make with this chicken. I like to make baby potatoes. Sometimes I boil the baby potatoes for about 5 minutes just to soften them, make sure that they're going to cook in the oven. I drain them, put them in a baking dish, cover them with olive oil. Sometimes I'll put fresh herbs on there like rosemary or thyme, salt and pepper. Pop them in the oven while the chicken's cooking, 20 minutes. If you pre-boil the potatoes, they will be done in 20 minutes. So that's another easy side dish. It's just a bunch of baby potatoes. So I've done that also, but tonight my family wants macaroni and cheese, so we're going to do the macaroni and cheese. I've started pulling out the chicken that is browned. I have one more chicken breast in here that I want to cook for a couple more seconds. And these are the ones I've just put in. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
When the timer's up, I'm going to flip these two last chicken breasts, pull the other one out, and they're about to go in the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
So while you're waiting for the chicken breast to cook, you can tidy up the kitchen, put away the ingredients that you've already used, set the table. I ran my dishwasher because it was pretty full. I took everything that I had in the sink that could fit in the dishwasher, put it in the dishwasher, and ran it. So I have the table set, I have the dishwasher set, the kitchen's pretty much cleaned. And that's a good thing to do when you're cooking, is just kind of clean as you go, so that you don't have to do it after dinner when you're tired and you don't really want to start cleaning an entire kitchen. What I'm going to do with this frying pan is, when it's still hot, I'm going to put it in the sink, fill it with some sudsy water, and let it soak before I put it in the dishwasher later. Okay, I'm going to put the chicken breast in the oven that I have preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just going to take that plate of chicken breasts and we're going to place them in the center of the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Now, if you get the really, really, really thin chicken cutlets, you don't need to put them in the oven. Then you don't need to put them in the oven. My chicken breasts aren't the thin cutlets. They're a little bit thicker than that. So I feel they need to go into the oven because they're not going to cook through just in the frying pan. The frying pan is going to start the cooking process, but they're really going to need to finish cooking in the oven. So I have my very hot pan sitting in the sink, and I'm going to fill that with a little bit of water and soap. And it's going to make a noise, and it's going to be messy. I'm going to put a little soap on my sponge, and I'm just going to fill it until the bottom is just covered with a thin layer of water, and just let it soak until the dishwasher's done. That's it. So I didn't put a lot of water in there, but I found that if I put pots and pans or frying pans in the dishwasher without a little pre-rinse or a wipe, a little pre-wipe, then the dishwasher doesn't get them completely clean. So I'll take if I have a hot pan that I have something sticky in, like chicken cutlets, I'll just soak it. I'll take it when it's really hot still, put a little bit of water in the bottom, let it soak, wash it out a little bit, stick it in the dishwasher. So you might wonder, why don't I just hand wash it from there? Hand washing kind of grosses me out. The sponge, unless it's a brand new sponge, I feel like it's not really that clean. So what are you really washing? You're putting bacteria on your pans and dishes and then drying them. To me, it's not clean unless it's sanitized in the dishwasher. That's why I put everything in the dishwasher. But again, some things need a little bit of a scrub before you put them in the dishwasher. That being said, I don't wash every single dish and cup before I put it in the dishwasher. I only pre-wash things that are really caked on with food that I know it's not going to come out in the dishwasher. I do scrape my plates off in the garbage before I put them in the dishwasher. I don't put food in my dishwasher. But I'm not going to pre-rinse every single dish. That's a waste of water and it's not necessary. But I am going to pre-soak a frying pan just to make sure that all the residue is scraped off it so I can put it in the dishwasher. So I actually had to turn off my macaroni and cheese water because it was boiling too early. I don't want to boil the macaroni until I'm close to taking the chicken out of the oven. So I am going to put the water burner back on. And that's going to boil very quickly because it's already very hot. And by the time it's boiling, it'll be done pretty close to the time that the chicken will be done. I'm going to pull my salad out of the fridge now. It doesn't have to be ice cold. But this is my tomato salad with fresh basil and mozzarella. So I'm going to just put it on the table so that we are ready to eat. I've already preset the table. Put the salad there. And all we're waiting for is the chicken and the macaroni and cheese. And dinner is almost ready. And it's going to be great. Everyone's going to love it. I got to go pull the chicken gravy out for Joe. So for Joe, I just heat up a jar of chicken gravy. And he is going to put this on his chicken cutlets. I'm just going to pour the gravy in a bowl and put it in the microwave for a minute or a minute and a half. We have some company. So these are the neighbors. They have a horse farm. And they take their students in our backyard. just put the pasta in. Remember to stir your pasta when you first put it in the water or it will stick. I always use the empty box as my spoon rest. And I have timed the pasta for when the chicken's done. So when the timer goes off, I am going to drain the pasta and pull the chicken out. Then I'll just heat up Joe's gravy. I already have the salad on the table. I've also already put some cheese, casserole dish. So I'm going to dump the pasta into the cheese, mix that together, warm up the gravy, pull the chicken out of the oven, dinner served. So the timer just went off. I drained my noodles. I'm going to mix that in with the cheese. But before I do that, I'm going to pull out the chicken. It's sizzling, you can hear it, so it's probably cooked through. I'm not going to turn the oven off because I want to make sure the chicken's cooked. I'm going to stir the macaroni and cheese, the hot noodles with the cheese sauce. This is comfort food, not necessarily the healthiest food, but we don't eat it every night. Actually, I only buy it a few times a year. I don't buy this every week because it really isn't that good for you, but it is delicious. So I'm just going to keep it warm while I check the temperature of the chicken. I have this old Pyrex thermometer. It has a separate meat thermometer. And I'm going to stick it inside the center of my chicken breast. That it is 183. So that is cooked through. So if that one's cooked through, I'm going to assume they're all cooked through. But I'm going to check every single one. These are all over 180. Yep. Okay. Remember, it has to be 165. These are all well cooked. That is the chicken when you pull it out of the oven. And I will put together my dishes now.